Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Broken Sword 4, the Angel of Death. Let's continue. Huge frustration happened in the last recording. Hopefully we can figure things out. This doorway is now magically open after we got rid of the bad guys. And so Tony was the mobster that was working with them, and then apparently he failed, so they are torturing / chopping him up into salami. And so somewhere around here, I'm imagining we're going to find him hanging around and find a card on him. That's my hope, at least. Because there's got to be something here in this section, or this wouldn't make much sense. Here's a butcher knife.
I'm not about to sit in that chair. Whoa, there's a pool of blood under the chair in the corner. We all know that pigs don't sit on chairs. I don't even want to imagine what's been going on in here.
Like, he should have probably figured it out by now. So, either we're gonna find Tony still alive, or he's somewhere in this room. Like,
the door's locked shut, but the handle is cold, so it hasn't been used.
so... Like, if this is bits of Tony, that... I mean, it's not like Tony would have swallowed the key card or something.
The door's blocked by all that wood.
So we found last time that the pigs swivel on a conveyor belt. So maybe they hung him up on the conveyor belt after the fact, and he will show up here now. Oh, yes, he will, but this makes no sense. This implies...
This must be Tony. Looks like it's going to be another good year for the Martino vintage.
This makes no sense. Like, who hung him up? Where were those bad guys? How did they do it without me seeing them at all?
I really don't want to do this, but I've got no choice. Yes! A key card.
See, this is just... It's just ridiculous. So I guess you could maybe guess the guard that was standing up front. Or the guy in the shop. Hung him up on the conveyor belt while I was back behind this wall. Or there were people in there that we didn't see, gangsters of no name or face, and they hung him up and then they left without me seeing.
Fingers and the rest of them came out of this room. But how? The room's full of wooden boxes and there's only one exit.
Oh, come on. It's pretty obvious. This is the only thing this game has made pretty obvious, that there's a doorway there. Everything else has been too difficult. Frankly,
Heavens for secret doorways.
not particularly enjoying the puzzles they've given me so far. And I know we're just at the beginning of the game, but I wouldn't say they're good quality. In a lot of ways, I think I very well may end up making the argument that the Broken Sword series is the Luigi of point-and-click adventure games. Just all good enough, but not as good as the Monkey Island series or the Sierra games. It's just this red-headed stepchild of the series, to use a phrase that probably shouldn't be used these days.
Not the best view in the world, but hey, whatever.
So maybe I'm gonna have to throw something down this way.
I can see out over the meatpacking company. Can't say I feel that factory boss gene kicking in, though.
Let's go and search the drawers of this giant desk.
Even in a secret office, they lock the drawers. They're either very paranoid or these drawers are fake fronts.
It'd be a very long desk to have fake fronts. So there's the piece of wood and ice I mixed together to make smoke, to smoke them out.
The drawers are locked. No point in trying to open them.
Just kind of saying directly there's nothing worth looking at here. Oh, there is something. What is this? Something wrapped in a silk hanky.
Whatever's wrapped in this handkerchief must be very precious to someone. Terrific. A photograph of actress Lucy Chu from that film In Cold Blood. Nice, but not worth wrapping in a handkerchief.
Let's see.
A promo photograph of Lucy Chu.
Why would I end up with that? And look, at 1080p resolution, we've had to actually cycle through our inventory here.
The cabinet's locked and secured so tightly that it's impossible to open. Even a seasoned pro would struggle here.
Fine, then just push the thing.
No way am I going to get into that cabinet with my bare hands.
Push it out the window, and we will break it with the bone crusher.
No way am I going to get into that cabinet with my bare hands. No way am I going to get into that cabinet with my bare hands.
Let's see. How can we convince him that I want him to push it?
No way am I going to get into that cabinet with my bare hands.
This?
That won't work here. A promo photograph of Lucy Chu.
Is there a Lucy Chu?
Salami.
Or is this like Lucy Liu?
That won't work here.
Just with a different name. Let's try the PDA. No connections nearby. Let's look at our notes. We've already gone to quite a few notes, considering you have to scroll all of that. Let's call Anne-Marie. It'd probably give us no hints.
Anything new?
Not really. I better get on it.
Okay, bye.
See, and they have a whole system here that it would make so much sense to just use that as your answer. I already got rid of the string.
A silk handkerchief. Obviously Italian. It's the cabinet where Finger stashed Anna Maria's manuscript. Secure being the operative word. I've never seen so many locks. How am I going to get into it? It's the cabinet where Finger stashed Anna Maria's manuscript. No way am I going to get into that cabinet with my bare hands.
Bare hands. I have grease on my hands.
That's not the right approach.
And pin
No way am I doing that.
this card.
That's not the right approach.
Salami.
That's not such a good idea.
Fire. Golf club.
That's not such a good idea.
So I'm trying to think, what item have we not used in this area? Apparently I can walk behind us.
No way am I going to get into that cabinet with my bare hands. the cabinet where Fingers stashed Anna Maria's manuscript.
And see if I could knock the floor out from under it. That would make sense too. I haven't used the bone crusher. I know that. And over here, I can't jump down that. Is there anything else? We just had grease on our hands for some reason. And it doesn't seem like there's like a way of lowering it into the floor or anything. Seriously, I want to be so done with this section. I'd just like to get into a new section. I'd just like to get it to start over again and let's just start on a new foot. So all of a sudden I can turn that bone crusher on, which I couldn't do before. This game is playing very fast and loose with its rules, in my opinion, by having objects interactable at different times, having doors magically open when you're not looking. All of these things could have been portrayed that way, but they really call out for like more keys. I should and could have easily just found the keys to the bone crusher on the desk, and then that would have given me a perfect reason to go back and turn on the bone crusher for the first time.
No way am I going to get into that cabinet with my bare hands.
Right. The thought here is to look out this window.
Through the open window, I can just see the bone cruncher. Falling into that thing would be a big mistake. I bet it could tear cars apart.
There you go. Have you figured it out now?
No way am I going to get into that cabinet with my bare hands.
Can I just push this thing?
No way am I going to get into that cabinet with my bare hands.
Ah, now I can push it with the right click. And it didn't give me any indication I could do that.
The secure cabinet's wheels are rusted and seized up. Nothing a bit of oil or grease won't fix.
Alright, well, I have grease on my hands, so...
No way am I going to get into that cabinet with my bare hands.
Can we use maybe the silk hanky with the grease? Is that what we have to do? I guess that is. Alright, running back again. This is another example of them having one element of the puzzle far too far away from all the other elements. That's not the ideal situation. You don't want that. It's not something you should build towards. Sure, it may happen every now and then, or just it may turn out to be that's the natural turn of events, but I'm like 5 screens away from the rest of the puzzle to get to this. To use this here.
Well, that stain sure won't ever come out.
So now we have a grease-soaked hanky. I'm hoping that's all we need and we don't end up having to run back through this area again. And they did open the shortcut, which is slightly helpful. But you could have had a pile of grease on the floor, frankly, anywhere in a meat factory, and it would have been fine. it didn't have to be in that area. In fact, what it really feels like is things like the stairwell were added later on, and that's why they have nothing in them. And if you there's
no
like
way am I gonna get into that cabinet with my bare hands.
there's two kinds of areas. There's an area like this that has a drawer and a cabinet to interact with. And it's practically always two things. And then you have the second type of areas like the stairwell that has nothing in it, or the one room of the factory actually doesn't have anything in it. And it's just a middle place.
Could loosen up those wheels.
The area outside of the smoker has nothing in it to interact with, but the area that actually is inside the smoker has two items, in the piece of wood and the meat. You better run. Sparks are flying across the screen. We're not just gonna jump out there. Yeah, the very dangerous way of getting it open, though. I mean, by the time you got down, there's a decent possibility that that thing may have destroyed the manuscript. And where would your adventure be then? Or what if it popped open and the manuscript just fell in there?
Underneath the MP3 player is Anna Maria's manuscript.
And we get an MP3 player too, so we can get Virgil to shut up about that.
It's the real thing, all right. 14th century. The question is, how am I going to research it? Museums are out of the question. No. I need somewhere much more salubrious.
And we leave.
Hey, Anna Maria, look.
Automatically.
George,
Good.
You found it. Oh, thank you.
What an animation that
part of
is,
the service.
jumping up and clapping.
Now,
Are you
let's see just what
are you
we've
10
got.
years old? Anna Marie? Anne Maria? Anna Maria? So, very, very much like Broken Sword 1, we've got several parts of this manuscript to click on. And hopefully, unlike Broken Sword 1, we don't end up having to look at this thing over and over again. Here we can see there's a dragon hidden under this lake. We have several Latin parts. Let's go with the Latin header.
It says, below the fortress of the one true patriarch awaits the angel. For he who is worthy and follows the path of the righteous.
Your Latin's good.
It was kind of geeky at school, but you know what? It sure paid off. So, all we need to do is work out who the true patriarch was and where his fortress is.
And then find a way to get below it.
But which fortress?
And that's the header. Let's do Latin part 1.
It says, the first, find the knights who share a horse.
The
And
Templars.
grasp the stone to open the way.
Maybe the first refers to the path that the righteous must take to reach the angel.
That makes sense. So we should understand the clue once we arrive at the right place.
So we have to grab some kind of stone in the temple location.
It says, the second, address the arms upon the shields, and close the circle for the knights to let you pass.
So solve the puzzle using that code up here.
4 knights with shields. The 4th coat of arms is hidden.
And so I think we could probably figure out the pattern there pretty easily. Oops, I clicked on it again. And are we done? Part 3.
It says, the third, Follow the master's worldly route and prove yourself worthy to lift. First, the fortress where he did fight, but was overwhelmed by Mamluk's might. Then he traveled to Longshank's fair city, and as Grand Preceptor he was received. To the temple at Villeneuve, where he was appointed Grand Master of the Order, before journeying to the island where he holds his court.
Now, every time we click on one of these, it says. They didn't need to record that line of dialogue. And they most certainly didn't need to repeat it that many times. Because he could have just begun translating it automatically.
It says...
Yeah, skip that part.
The last. To see the light turn from Holy Sion to face the great fortress of the Empire of the East, the seat of the Holy Church in the west, the learned Coptic city to the south. Turn from Holy Sion to face... from where? Jerusalem?
What's interesting here is you have these symbols here of a cross, a Star of David, a crescent moon, which is the Muslim symbol. So you have Christianity, Judaism, and Muslim.
Cross, crescent moon, Star of David. I wonder why these symbols are here.
That's pretty much every religion of that branch. So what else do we have here? We have an idol, a fortified city. Let's start with the fleur de lis.
Fleur de lis, in some pattern.
I imagine this is a code. And then we have a king.
Now that's a king who really loves himself.
Is that Nero? A holy man?
A deformed holy man gazes over the seas. A fairly typical depiction of a fortified European city.
Let's see, that was the castle. Then hell.
The fires of hell are consuming the city.
And they're consuming this lady. Then we have this Anno.
The manuscript was made in 1307. The Templars must have known an attack was imminent and took care their treasure would be safe.
And nothing about these people in the boat, nothing about the dragon, nothing about the fire. We have, let's start here, fortified city. Just looking at everything.
City has minarets?
It looks Eastern.
So here you have a Western, before the Americas were discovered, style castle, and you have an Eastern castle. So you getting the idea here.
A worthy and devout looking man?
This is the idol of Baphomet.
Hey, I recognize this. It's Baphomet, the idol that the Templars were accused of worshipping. I really need to find a way to research these subjects.
Yeah, well, obviously what you're going to end up doing is talking to Andre, unless nobody else shows
This looks
up.
like St. George, the patron saint of England, fighting the famous dragon.
Strange. The city on the right looks Eastern, but it's being defended by a Christian knight.
Wasn't St. George English?
Actually, he came from Turkey.
So, is St. George the person that fought the dragon in the previous game, or the sleeping dragon? Or it's kind of strange. I mean, it's strange he didn't mention the previous game at all in that cutscene. And then the angel.
This must be the angel that the manuscript refers to.
Doesn't look much like treasure to me.
And it looks like we can now go back. So we've looked at everything. Why is this called black symbols? That's in red. You can't be that colorblind. Those are red symbols. Come on, game. Translate things correctly.
Can you decode it, George?
Not fully. I need a library or a database.
But the streets are too dangerous. Can't we get information online?
Well, there is a website, Andre Lobineau's Society of Antiquarian Knowledge, but I was locked out.
Didn't you say that Virgil had hacking skills?
Yeah, but he's pretty angry right now.
Then get charming.
So this is so ridiculous. Andre's library is going to be mentioned, but it seems like we're not going to actually talk to Andre. I don't think anybody else is going to show up in this game. It's just going to be George. Let's see. Let's give this to her and see if she says anything about it. No. Not even a response. They didn't even program anything. And I don't know what I'm going to do with the salami later on, but we've got this MP3 player.
A high-tech MP3 player.
Let's go ahead and hand it to Virgil. And so he's not mad at us anymore.
Virgil, I know nothing can replace your MP3 player, but I thought this might ease the loss.
Well, what do you know? Same model. You steal it?
No, certainly not. I'm a lawyer.
Exactly, so you stole it. Well, it doesn't replace the music, though, does it? Ah, heck. I got it all on CD at home anyway. Thanks, George.
Back up your MP3s. Don't just all have it on an MP3 player. Alright, now we can talk to him.
Hey, Virgil, you got 5 minutes?
Sure, what can I do for you?
How do you think about Anna Maria? What do you think about Anna Maria?
So, how's Anna Maria been holding up?
Oh, don't worry about her, man. I talked her into a nice, cool place.
Huh? What do you mean?
Oh, she's been through a lot, George. She needed a shoulder to lean on.
Look at his head. It's not
And you
to
just
scale
happen to
at
have
all.
one available, huh?
Tiny head
You know
guy.
me, George.
Yep, I do.
Ask him about the Mafia gang, I guess.
So, what happened after we barricaded ourselves in?
First they broke into your office, then they searched the whole place, then they smashed everything up.
Oh, I bet you showed them a few moves, though, hey, Virgil?
Are you kidding? I was under the desk, man.
Oh, well, so what did they do then?
Busted my MP3 player and left.
Well, that's some story.
What's so funny, man?
Well, you under a desk, Virgil. I mean, I wish I'd seen that.
You want to keep me as your friend? You better leave it, George.
So we have an animation here, and the camera angle is messing with the perspective. Plus, the game just doesn't know how to do perspective correctly at all. Like his head, here, George Stobbart's head, is half the size of a painting. It's about 4 times larger than this guy's head, which this guy's head is about half as big as it should be. He's broad shoulders, his tall looking. It looks like he's looking down at a child with exceptionally long legs. Perspective's just totally wrong. And on top of this, it's just bad framing of a shot. People should be on the same level when they communicate. So either have this guy animate and stand up and talk to you, or just have him always standing so he's at the same level to talk to you, or have George sit down on the table next to him, whatever, and have a conversation. This is ridiculous.
Virgil, I need to get online to do some research.
Like, now both of them are
So
looking
go
down on
online.
him.
What's stopping you?
The site I need blackballed me after Glastonbury. Locked me out.
Take it from me, George, and I've been in prison.
The sound
No
effects
such
cut out
thing as
there.
locked out. Now, where's that little gadget? I know it's here somewhere. There you go, George. This should be useful.
And
is it?
they can't even
It's a
animate
flash
him
card with
handing
a few
it.
little features of my own
to
design.
him.
Just slip it into your PDA and ride that internet.
So now we have some elite hacking skills apparently. So let's see, where's that flashcard? Did it just go into the PDA automatically? I guess it did. So connect. And now we can go to Lobano's private server and accessing the internet. Connection firewall hack connection. Connection firewall hack the connection. Yeah, sure. What am I doing?
George, this is my homemade hacking system with the emphasis on homemade, know what I mean? I'll show you how to use it by hacking into a computer owned by an old friend of mine. This is you, symbolized by your PDA. This is your destination, the database you're attempting to hack. What you gotta do is connect your data stream to the target computer without being spotted or stopped. See here, my friend lives on the other side of the state. This mountain range is in the way, so we gotta go around it. If we're gonna hack into the database, we're gonna have to pass through these points, or root nodes. They disguise the data stream from your PDA so you don't get found out. To manipulate the data stream, you gotta use routers and refractors. You understand? You're utilizing other less secure systems in the area. You're pretty limited to what the device can find at the time, but there's normally enough to do the job. This one acts like a mirror. It'll deflect the beam at 90-degree angles. This one refracts your beam at 45-degree angles. These are splitters. They can split a beam at either 45 or 180-degree angles. As the target device is searching for one data stream, you'll need to converge the data streams back into one. You do this using a splitter, but in reverse. But if you're using a splitter in one direction, you can't use it in the other. These points are the bad boys. They're nodes, which detect what you're up to and stop your hacking. You gotta be one step ahead of these fellas. Accidentally route your data stream into one of these, and your connections bust open. I recommend you plan your route before you start placing nodes all over the place. So, watch me complete this puzzle.
So it's dragging and dropping. This is frankly the worst way to put a hacking minigame in your game, because it's in this tiny little PDA screen instead of where it should be, which is completely just in the game at full screen. And this is so unnecessary.
There you go. Now let's see what my friend has in his database. Oh, no. Oh boy, we didn't want to see that. He is one outrageous dude. Okay,
That's a
George,
poster from
your
a
turn.
previous game. And let's see, can we hit escape and save right now? Nope, but I don't want to do the hack right now. We've been going 30 minutes. I suppose, considering I've been frustrated with the point-and-click adventure game aspects and puzzles up to this point, giving me something different to do and to kind of calm down and relax on isn't a terrible thought, but they aren't starting on the right foot by giving it to me as a tiny PDA screen. Again, this is a resolution thing, I suppose, because at 1080p it's probably just showing more of the edge of the screen. If you imagine that they originally intended the game to have the Broken Swords title here be right to the edges of your monitor, that would make the PDA larger because the pixels are bigger, and pixels get smaller the higher your resolution. But that doesn't really make me feel any better about it. Anywho, that's it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.